Now, my fellow panelists, we have about 10 questions that some of these people asked. So I'm going to start with you, Patrick, with this question. Is it possible to be an entrepreneur while being employed at the same time? Then, coupled with that, he again asks, what, in your opinion, would be the practical ways to seamlessly transition from an 8 to 5 p.m. white-collar job to a successful business? How do I move from my white-collar job to a successful businessman?
That is a question that I am asked quite often, mainly because we've got a group of young people who are enthusiastic, who have ambition. They have dreams, and they feel that they will not achieve their dreams by doing this 9-to-5 job. And I encourage them to get out and do business. Let me first take you a step back. I have a big fight because I'm like a one-man crusade when I go to schools. Very often I'm invited to schools, partly I think because I'm easygoing. I say, okay, I'll come. And people think you got the time. But you go to one school, the other schools hear about you, then all the schools are calling you, and then you find you don't have time to work. When I go to these schools, it's normally talk about careers. And the big problem I find is that, and here I ask all of you to be my ambassadors, all of you, when your children do well, or your sister does well, at all level, in all the subjects, you're all happy. Now you can be a doctor, or you can be an engineer, because you can do sciences. If they don't do sciences, do arts, you be a lawyer. Or you do procurement. Lately, procurement is the hottest job. So when I go to schools, talk to them, an architect has been there to encourage them to be an architect, a lawyer, an engineer, a doctor. So nearly all of them have made up their minds. Nobody goes there. Even when I go there, I'm like the last one on the list to go and talk about people coming to do business. So the people who come into business are those who have failed to do any of those good courses. So it's like the leftovers. When everything else fails, go to business. So the cream of this country doesn't go into business. Then you wonder why the cream of this country is looking for jobs afterwards, how to get into business. And the people in business who are not the cream, and there are people who are struggling, they couldn't see the opportunity as quickly, but eventually they stumble across it. The guys in Chikubo, they didn't cross even S4, things were hard, but somehow they know how to put up a property and rent it out. There's one woman in Chikubo who sells fabric, completely uneducated, but she's a powerful woman. Every year she has been going and bringing textiles, bringing material like these people talked about. What she does, she wants to make $1 on every yard. She doesn't even count meters, she calls them yards. Kuyadi yange, dollar yange. And that's all. She has employed her relatives and friends. They handle the tax issues, the freight issues. Every yard, she wants $1 profit. And she wants her dollar that day. In the shop, if you sell 100 yards, she wants $100. 1,000 yards, she wants $1,000. Her profit is her money. Her working capital is here. Her children have grown up, they're educated. Now when she buys 1 yard at $7, or 1 yard at $1, another yard at $12, she doesn't care. She wants $1 profit. She doesn't want to work out the costs, the ratios, the capital. No, $1, 1 yard. Now this woman sells 1 million yards every year. Her business has grown. She does these Kinyankore women, Bikoi and what have you. But out of that, every year she has been selling and making $1, $1 million every year. As her profit, her capital grows, her children help her with that, but she wants her dollar in cash. And she buys a building every year. And these buildings have been appreciated. She's a powerful lady. I try to explain to her, she says, Mutaba Nitula, we talk, we drink tea, and she wants me to teach her about business, but I cannot change her mentality about her $1. Because she's kept it simple, and it has worked for her. It's successful. She simplified everything to her $1. Now, you people who get these jobs, you're very clever, you've done PhDs, you do whatever, and then you don't even have a pension. You depend on NSSF, that when you retire, you will get money from NSSF. I've seen people in Makerere, I go to lecture them, even the university lecturers, and not one of them has a house fully paid for and another house as an investment. Many of them, when I ask, do you have a house? Yes, me, I have a house. Yeah, that's your security, but you live in it. It's not an asset now. When you have an investment earning you revenue, that's an asset. Because all of us want to provide security for our loved ones. So I tell people, go to work, because not all of you will do in business, and not all of you have capital. Save some money. Learn what's happening, what there is to learn about the world, because you have to learn. When you feel the time is right, get out and do business. When I said I'm on this crusade to encourage everybody to go into business, I want more and more entrepreneurs, because Uganda will not change when we have so many peasants. Even when they are not peasants, they are educated, but in their mind, they don't have that entrepreneurial spirit. They will remain with a peasant mind. And that's what's killing our country. So it may be late for those who are old, or as old as I am, but our children should not make that problem. Countries like America, they are proud of Harvard Business School. The cream goes to the business schools. Stanford Business School, Cornell, Columbia, they are very proud of others. And we need engineers, we need doctors, by the way, I'm not knocking them. But unless we have the cream of our society doing business, we will not succeed. When you take a man like Sudhir, his IQ very high, but he didn't do formal education. But see how he has transformed Uganda. The biggest property mogul in this country. The only person who has more property than him maybe is the Kabaka. But otherwise, as an individual, no one has more property than him. He held my hand when I was going in property, and I was scared. I remember I was a young, fast-rising businessman with MTN, spending money. I bought a house, and he took me. He said, I want to do a good deal. He said, you want a good deal? He held my hand after lunch at Speak Hotel. We went to Chadondo, just at Chadondo there, just where Dembe FM is now. There were 3 properties in a row. He said, buy them. I don't have enough money for 3. 100 million each, 120 million, 150, 100. Buy all of them. What? I'll lend you the money. You just bring what you've got, I'll lend you the money. This man is setting me. And he said, come. There's another one also in Nkuruma Road at the same day. Also buy that one. The same guy, you know, we're helping him. He's my friend. He wants to sell. But let's do this deal. Nkuruma as well. I'll lend you 600 million. 600 million was a lot of money. I took the chance. I signed the papers. Each of those properties today, single property, is worth $1.5 million. That's over 3 billion shillings. This is 9 years, 10 years ago. I paid 150 million, which I borrowed from him. Today I can sell maybe the doors, only the doors, and I will still pay the bank. So you have to be bold. You have to be courageous. So to me, he was a great mentor. Now, people who are employed, you're overeducated. You overanalyze. You don't have the appetite for risk in your stomach. You are vienda like this. So I encourage people who have got a job, slowly, do it according to your pace. And the earlier you do it, the better. Many people come to me with their pension. I've now retired. UCB, I've worked for 40 years. Here's my 60 million. I want to get in business. You want to get in business with this young man. The earlier you learn to get into business, the better. Take a chance. You will lose some money. You will fall. Just like when you're learning how to ride a bicycle or even learning how to walk, you will fall a few times. So you will make a loss, but don't give up because you made a loss. Go back, get up and run. It's not the falling that matters. It's how quickly you get up and pick yourself up. So these are important things that you've got to do. I encourage people to do business, but don't go in the deep end of business when you've got a job, because you will be cheated, whether it's by your brother, your sister, whoever's running it. You have to make the time for the business. So get into smart businesses which do not need so much time, which do not need so much control, until they have gained momentum, and then you can get into that business full-time and leave your 9-to-5 job. Then you create jobs for other people, employ other people. Let them also work, but don't feel bad when they leave you to also set up their business. I'm proud when my staff employees come back saying, boss, I learned so much from you. I'm happy, because then I feel they're like my children. I've raised them, and I've raised them well.
Thank you so much, Patrick. The next question goes to you, Sudhir. You own an empire called the Ruperia Group of companies. I think I'm told you own half of Kampala. Recently, you shifted the CMI, took it somewhere else. So somebody's asking a question here. How do you take that small idea to the next level? How do you grow a small shop to a big store? A small kiosk, a small canteen to a munyonyo?
Well, I never had a master plan, or I never had a dream of owning these things. My simple philosophy on life was to create cash flow. Like Patrick said, don't overburden yourself. Cash flow is so vital. Now, if get into business or employment which will give you surplus money, or your income should be over your expenditure. Now, our biggest problem in a country like Uganda is we all love life, we all love enjoying. Nothing wrong with that, it's very nice. I do it myself all the time. I think where we differ is that if you make $100, don't spend $100. Your money you should spend is only about $10. The 90 must go for reinvestment for tomorrow, because tomorrow is vital. The biggest problem is we don't have a saving culture, and that's key. If you take China, for example, their saving culture is 50% of what they earn. India is around 40%. But I think Uganda is much lower,
This is 2%.
How much?
That we save 2% of our earnings. Oh, now positive 2%.
Once you get to a level where you are actually creating cash flow, you can then afford to invest that into something that you want to do, or the safest bet is still real estate. Real estate can come up, can go down, but you never lose your money. However small part of real estate you can get hold of, that's very important. Because over the years, things will appreciate you can. But I think the key is to create enough cash flow to be able to invest as a starting point. And once you've invested, of course, you make sure that you are going to get some return on it. I remember 15 years ago, a plot in Nakuru would cost you less than $10,000 an acre. The same plot today is worth $1 million, $800 to $1 million in Nakuru. So this is the kind of thing that you do it. So I think important to create cash flow.
Now, you're talking of property appreciating. Of course, me personally, I find it very difficult now to get $1 million and buy a plot in Nakuru. Is it worth it to go outside town, outside Kampala, and does property make sense?
You see, if I remember, we would 10, 12 years ago, we could buy an acre of land on Entebbe Road for $1,000 an acre. There was about 1 million shillings an acre. There's always an opportunity that wherever you look around, whether it doesn't be Entebbe Road, but there's Makono, there's something inside. So something around the line where, it's always available. You see, what one has to appreciate that the way the economy is going now, we have oil. And the whole economy is going to explode. Next 3, 4, 5 years, if you miss your chance, and if you don't plan it right, you will miss the bus. Now, this is your chance for next 3, 4, 5 years. Get into something what you want to do, and you make sure that you get it there right now. Now, 6 months, 12 months, a great opportunity is coming. Every Ugandan will have the same opportunity. It's how you take it to. The opportunity is in front of you.
Thank you so much.